Alright, so this might be a little, not for the faint of heart. If you have religion, I don't know, higher power? Now, this is probably the toughest, it's not tough for me, but it is, it's, well, obviously it's not, easy to talk about to certain people. I don't want people hating me for what I have to say, but I have. You know how in addiction recovery, people then find their higher powers, right? After they've gone through what they've gone through. This might come as sick to some of you. This might come as amusing to some of you. This might come as interesting, amusing, whatever. But this is what it is for me. This is what it was. I'm not sorry for what I'm gonna say, but you wanna know how I see, well, people go through addiction, they find their higher power, right? Here's the thing with me. As a young child, and I'm being very honest with you guys, okay? Please take me seriously because this is my story, an aspect of my story. As for higher power, well, I'll be straight up with you guys. I was always interested, even as a young child, in not only what comes next, but what came before, what we are made of, why we are different than everything else everything else on Earth, why we learned about evolution, about the species of chimps, apes. You get what I'm saying. I thought about this as a young child, okay? Now, the crazy thing is a lot of people, when they go through addiction and when they get clean, they then find their higher powers, right? They find their higher powers. Now, with me, it's gonna come off as a little weird to some of you guys, but it is what it is, man. This is. I'm not saying this is why I used. It might come as a little bit crazy, but there we go. Sorry. I mean, this is how it was for me. A lot of people, they find their higher powers when they get clean. Hold on 1 second. They find their higher powers when they get clean. You know, they discover all of that after they've gone through what they've gone through. Now, what's sick about my life and why it's so hard for me to deal with what I deal with up here. Some of y'all might think I'm crazy. I don't think I'm crazy at all. No, I'm not crazy. If I gave you my head and placed it on your body so you could take a break from yours, here, hold my head. put my consciousness helmet on. Take it. You'll believe everything I've ever believed, and you will pretty much not experience, but you'll be me. See how it is to be me, right? This was tough in rehab, too, having this conversation. This was tough, man. I got a lot of crap from people for this, and frankly, they really couldn't argue with me. Eventually, they were just like, "We've never heard anything like that before," and I'm like, "I'm sorry. I don't know why it happened this way, but it did." I was already searching for my higher power from as far back as I can remember as a child. I was already searching for my higher power. I started using opiates, opioids, and opiates, um, age 24, 25, right? I was looking for a higher power since as far back as I can remember. It was reversed for me. Now, what I mean by it was reversed was that through physics, quantum physics, astrophysics, physics in general, metaphysics, theoretically, metaphysics, astrology means nothing to me. I'm a Virgo. It means nothing. It has nothing to do with who you guys are. I'm sorry to break it to you guys. I mean, you obviously don't have to believe me. I don't care. I've read to Aquarius's a Virgo's reading for that day. This is Aquarius's reading today. What is it? Blah 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 blah. That is me to the T, and I'm like, nice. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. You know what I mean? And then I broke it to him. Like, yeah, well, this was my reading for today as a Virgo, so it has nothing to do with who you are. Your signs have nothing to do with who you are. Well, you're a Virgo. I don't date Aquariuses. If you live in that world, you might as well just cut it out because you're living down here. You're really not living in a consciousness you're not there. You might as well just stop fantasizing. I'm sorry, but there's people out there that will agree with this. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So I was looking for my higher power as a child. I mean, prepubescent. I mean, I was already looking for my higher power, like as a kid. And the theories that I came up with, oh my God. Just thinking about the fact that this is how it was for me is not disturbing. It might be for some of you, but to me it was just like it only makes sense, right? I see things as our ancient ancestors had different translations for what they called whatever they called. Everything was translated differently at a time. Uh, the medieval times, the Dark Ages, the bathroom was not a bathroom. It was the toilet. It was a privy. You get what I'm saying? There were different names for everything. Had a different base of terminology. I mean, now here's the crazy part, right? When you think God, the light, right? Like this, right? Look, you think God, you think a bright, flashing light. when you think heaven, you point up. Most people do, right? They, heaven, God, the light. Think about it this way. If you point up from wherever you're standing, and I'm not talking about heaven or God, go out into the middle of a field, go outside your house, wherever you're at. Just go outside and look up. What do you see? There's no arguing this, and this is what really got me, right, as a kid. Because I couldn't argue this. I could not argue it. I look up to the heavens, and I do see a light always shining on me. It gives me happiness. I wish this light was out every day, amongst the clouds, whatever. But even with the clouds and the rain and the snow, you guys get what I'm saying, right? The sun is God. I mean, I don't even bite my tongue saying this. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry at all. But think this is what our ancient ancestors, from multiple different, you know, uh, religions, spiritual belief systems, they did. All of our ancient ancestors had this view on heaven, or the heavens, or the afterlife. I mean, they had this view. God is the light. Heaven, God is the creator. Heaven, people always tend to look up, no matter who it is. I don't care what religion you are. You say, where are the heavens? People immediately go. The reason why is because the sun is God, dude. And now what's crazy is that your cell phone, the shelves on my wall, this plasma screen TV, this comforter, this weighted blanket, my dog, this pillow, medications, heroin, fentanyl, benzodiazepines, my teeth, my lips, me in general, my closet door, my house, the ground, the grass, rain. Anything and everything that exists that you can see, touch, taste, smell, everything that you see, everything in our existence, everything consists of hydrogen-based atoms. We are all made of the sun. We are the sun. We're stardust. If that star, of many stars, that a lot of them have died, a lot of them have not, they shine bright. Still, they've died years ago. The light has not reached Earth yet, but our star is still shining. If that goes out, we could turn our lights off, right? We'll be good till tomorrow when the sun rises. But guess what? That star goes out. Plant life, animal life, human life, technology, everything's gonna go. I'm sorry to say it, but everything's going to go. Like, everything will cease to exist. Plant life won't even be able to take over. Yeah, humans can destroy each other through atomic, but that goes out. Everything's done. Within 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, depending on who prepped and whatever bunkers we have and all this. nonsense. Eventually things are gonna run out, and that's what I see as God. The sun is God. Heaven up, God the light. Simple as that. It's simple. And I like that simplicity. Because as long as that's shining, anything is possible. And I think to myself, all of the stuff I'm worrying about, chemicals, dependency, this, that, all this shit I'm worried about. When I look up at the sun or the stars at night, different suns and stars, at night I can see them. During the day I can see ours. I'm just like, why am I taking all this so seriously? What am I? What am I doing? I'm freaking out for what? Because I put myself in a third person's perspective, and is it? It's as if I'm sitting on the sun, even though it's not possible. I'm looking at Earth, and I'm just, what's going on over there? All these little subatomic particles are moving around and doing all of these things, and there's little flashes of light and explosions and war. Like, all this shit's going on. And it's like, why are we taking stuff so seriously? Because we have consciousness, we have perspective, we have emotions. You know, we're given this life, or no, we are privileged pretty much to have this quality of life. Pets, animals. We have all types of stuff that are luxuries. You know what I mean? We're lucky to, realistically, we're lucky to have consciousness. I mean, we are. And you really can't imagine it if you didn't have it, because if you didn't have it and you weren't alive or conscious, you wouldn't be able to judge yourself or like whatever. So I already figured this stuff out when I was a child. My higher power. Do I believe we were genetically modified through our evolution? Duh. You know, Adam's rib. I mean, the rib is the only part of the body where it has the most concentrated bone marrow. If you wanted to clone any human being, I mean, even an animal, you use the rib. The rib is the only translation, ancient history to modern. You get what I'm saying? There was some type of a, I believe, a modification or an evolution. I mean, we come from chimps, apes, monkeys, whatever. Why, a lot of species build shelters. They eat, they shit, they piss, okay? Especially mammals. But they don't go to the extremities that we do. Television, me talking to y'all. I can call somebody. Leaving the Earth, going to the moon, going to space, into orbit. I mean, there's so many things, obviously, that you can tell is different than every other species on Earth. We are unique. So, whoever modified us, I have no idea. I don't know who the fuck it was. I don't know. I can't tell anybody that. I have no idea. But even whoever modified us genetically throughout time, they're still under the sun. If that decides to take a shit, it could either go into the opposite of what it is and create a black hole and suck in time and space as one physical object, and then I can't tell you what happens. Or it can explode and supernova, and then go into a cold nucleus, and then over billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of years, resustain fusion again over time. Expelling gravitational field, particles come together, everything starts again. You know what I mean? Eventually, everything just starts again. That's how I see it. I thought of all of this stuff when I was a child. So, substances not only help my chronic pain and my panic disorder, but they numbed that too. When I was in rehabs and I told that story, they were like, "You found your higher power before you used them." Like, yep. They're like, "Your higher power doesn't even sound that bad." They're like, "It doesn't sound." But still, how did you deal with that as a kid? Going to church with your family. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But it wasn't easy, man. It was not easy to fucking deal with. That's why I don't take humans seriously. That's why I don't have a filter. You guys see why now? I don't have a filter. I don't fear Homo sapiens. I really don't fear anything. I don't fear anything. It might sound sick, but it doesn't bother me. Now, I do have another, this is kind of cool and interesting in my opinion, another theory on the afterlife, right? How much time do I have left? 21 out of 40. Okay. I have one theory where it's possible this could be our first chance in a physical vessel with a consciousness. Electrons consist of, well, I'm not going to get to the electrons part. Whatever, all coinjoids, but we have a consciousness, we live, we die, or we're on our deathbed, surrounded by our family members, whatever. As we are dying, obviously, you guys know DMT is released. We have a mass hallucination. We start to see life, flashbacks, and all of this. But here's what I believe is one of my theories. Being that our subconscious and our forefront, our subconscious knows the unconscious parts of our system, kidney function, liver, breathing, unconscious things that we do that happen, heartbeat, you know what I mean? Certain things that happen while we're not thinking about it. And then and that's our subconscious. It knows everything. That's why we can dream and still be human in the dreams and breathe and all this and eat shit, piss in our dreams. And we do everything in our dreams. But we also have, our forefront also knows our emotional, and it also understands how far we go back in terms of how far we can remember. Notice, you don't remember when you were born. You don't remember that far back. So my theory is this could be the first chance. We go on our deathbed, everybody's surrounding us, everything we've done on earth, all the lessons that we've learned. If you truly love yourself and love others, I believe this, it could shift into another hallucination. That in that hallucination in your deathbed, that hallucination now begins. Goes back as far as your subconscious and forefront can remember. Everything goes back as far back as it can remember. Boom, you start over again. It's the same person. Same person. Same person. But you do stuff differently. You do things differently. You don't think the same. Your lessons from your previous life follow into that life. That goes, let me see how much time again. That goes on and on and on and on and on. We live another life. We make more decisions and we do this and that and we learn lessons and learn again. And then we're on a deathbed in that hallucination because our subconscious knows about hospitals, medication, all of this stuff, knows about our deathbed. We end up in another deathbed because we were in there before. Happens again. We have a hallucination about DMT being released again in another hallucination, which then translates into another hallucination, repeating the same thing, going back to as far back as it can remember, and life starts again. So realistically, you're on that deathbed physically for the first chance. Could be the first, I don't know. First chance. Your parents surrounding you, your family, whatever. forever and ever and ever. In your mind, in your consciousness, it goes on forever and it never ends. You meet new people, form new relationships, take new chances. All these beautiful things happen. Never ends. If you truly hate yourself, hate others, your next life might suck, but you have the opportunity to change that. That's the way I look at one form of the afterlife. The other form is obviously there's, planes of light that we cannot perceive with our own eye. We can't. So we might see ghosts, but we also might be ghosts to those ghosts. They might have glitches in their planes of light and see a glimpse of us and be like, what was that? Like where I'm laying right now in a bed. This could be a bar. It could be a hotel full of humans just like us partying. There could be Jessica, Sarah, Amanda right there sitting in a bar and all of this and everything. And then all of a sudden they see somebody laying in a bed and it just happens quick. Boom. And it's gone. A glitch. Matrix. Whatever the hell you want to call it. Not Matrix, but a glitch in our perception of planes of light that we cannot perceive. So it's kind of tough to say this part, but this thought is like, when we die, there are micrograms of weight that do disappear when we die. I mean, nurses and physicians the surgeons will tell you, like, it has happened. We've seen it. We can't explain it. My opinion is, electrons. I mean, what creates our consciousness and that creates it. What does our consciousness consist of? Electrons. They transfer. But the thing is transfer into what? I don't know. I don't know. Do we become human again? Are we the same people that just shift into another dimension? If so, why? Why are we still human? If not, here's another thing. I do have another little partial theory that, like, your loved ones that pass away, people that you love that have passed, there's no physical form. There's no language. There's no. All it is understanding, love, love, hate, good, bad, negative, positive. As we know in this world, good is good, bad is bad. Good tends to live longer, bad tends to die quicker. They do worse. Good tends to have better intentions. We just know it. Love, hate, the universe is still expanding, positive, negative. I mean, a lot of, you know what I mean? It comes down to good and bad, love and hate, plus and negative, really. So we pass on, and it's a realm of just understanding, almost like telepathy. There's no form. There's no human. There's no language. It's basically like the loved ones that you've been connected to. You ever have a random time where you're just like depressed and like bummed out, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm never gonna pass this exam. I'm never gonna get through this withdrawal. I'm never gonna get through this taper. I'm never gonna get this job. I'm never gonna get this car. I'm never gonna do this or whatever. And all of a sudden you get this random burst of, yes, the fuck I am. Where'd that come from? To me, that could be loved ones that you've been connected to that have passed on that transfer understanding to you. That's like if I look at you and I go, fuck you. Immediately you get a negative feeling go through your body. It's not nice. If I go, I love you, some of you guys are smiling. You're like, you get that understanding and that positive feeling, right? Imagine me not saying that. Imagine, look at my face. Negative. And how about this? positive. I don't have to say it to you, but you get that feeling of, that was nice. I didn't tell you anything. You know what I'm saying? There's no language in that realm. So that's another theory I have on the afterlife. How we get there in terms of we're not meant to really understand that yet. So don't kill yourself trying to figure it out. And then people have their heaven and hell theories, but heaven and hell in terms of biblical, uh, of multiple different Bibles, it's all human based. And in my opinion, and I'm sorry, some of y'all might, how much time do I have left? 30, shit, I only have 10 minutes. So, in my opinion, the fact that heavens and hells, everything about them in different religions, it's all, they're all ideas that are derivative from the human mind, like human based, like hell, the lake of fire, the even Dante's Inferno. I mean, to heaven, to, it's all stuff that is human based. If you think about it, humans came up with it. It's something that a human would come up with. A monkey couldn't. I mean, humans, torture methods, this, that, whatever. Human. It's all about humans created it. You can tell, humans, bipedal creatures. I mean, they describe. I don't even want to go into it, but the afterlife, life itself, and the afterlife is not significant to only humans. If that was the case, we are selfish sons of bitches, and my beautiful dog doesn't mean shit. But I matter more. She's alive, she's breathing, she has emotions, she's beautiful. I feed her, I take care of her every day. But does that mean she doesn't mean shit? And that I'm more unique because we have all this? No. The afterlife, life itself, is not significant to humanity. Africa is the only continent with roots going into the ground. When it was Pangea, roots into the earth, not just the ground, the earth. Life began in Africa, even microbiologically. Life began in Africa. I'm not saying human life. I don't know. But life began there. So, I mean, humans were not, first, whatever. You know where I'm going with this, so. Humans are very unique. We are lucky we can do all this, but my point is like, I have different theories, and I thought of all this stuff, all of these theories, before I touched the substance. When I was young, when I was a young kid, I thought about all this. Imagine dealing with that while sitting in church with your family and thinking about that. You're gonna go fucking crazy. I did. I went nuts until I finally accepted it. I go for a run. I put on music from Africa. I put on different types of music, tribal music from Africa. I look at the sun. I get this amazing feeling, and I think that's real. You know what I mean? You have emotions. Use them. Use them what? Was it 33:58? Okay. Use your emotions wisely, man. If you love and you feel happy, feel fucking happy. That's real. It's obviously not fake. You can love. You can feel amazed. You can feel great. So just do it. Let it. I've been in withdrawal from whatever, and I've snapped out of it. Sometimes I snap out of it, and a lot of you guys do too. But you all don't think this way, but you do this. You get fed up enough where you snap out of it, and you're like people in prison where they say they find God. A lot of different things happen, right? Where you're like, everything stopped. It's like I knew I had some symptoms, but they weren't bothering me anymore the way they were. I accepted things because you're powerful enough to stop it all. You're powerful enough to stop all of it. Step out of yourself. Imagine yourself looking at yourself. What am I doing? This is what I'm worried about? What if this is the only chance that we have? What if it's not? Am I gonna fuck it up with all this negativity? You know what I'm saying? So I thought of all this stuff before I used the substance. So the substances numb that too wasn't easy to deal with. You can imagine, I'm sure, was not easy. So I have different theories and different. I have a whole different. I have a lot of that I don't want to go into, but that's just a glimpse of my spirituality, of my view on life, the afterlife, some of them, um, and just consciousness. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just gotta snap out of it, because I'm telling you guys right now, 36 out of 40. Okay, I'm telling you guys right now, like when you surrender from your substance or drugs, you get this trigger, this switch in your mind where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Some people wake up literally overnight and say, fuck it, I'm done. They feel that. You need to become aware of it. Once you're aware of these things that I just told you, even if it's everything I just told you, you're aware of all of it. Now, because I told you, you're aware of it. Now it's in your head. I'm not trying to freaking uh, put you into a state of delusion. That's not my point. I'm giving you my opinions. Some people asked me in another video, or somebody did, about my spiritual belief systems. Here you go. But now you guys are aware of it that listen to this whole video. Now it's in your head. It's never gonna leave you now. Sorry. Some of you might say, fuck you. It's not gonna change what I believe. It'll still always be there, and it's a lot more rational than thinking that you're gonna go somewhere and get tortured for eternity. For absurd reasons or rational reasons. You could be psychotic, you could be insane, you could do a lot of nasty, dumb shit in the world. If you truly love yourself and love others, that's what it comes down to. When you die, that is what matters. How you vibrate, in my opinion, in a positive frequency, with love, positive, good, bad, plus, negative, hate. Hate, love, hate, good, bad, positive, negative, the end of the universe, positive and negative, positive wins, universe keeps expanding, negative wins, universe goes in reverse. There's the reason for that. People that are positive beat certain diseases, they do. There's a lot to the plus and the negative, the yin and the yang, and now I'm sure you get it. But I hope I explained it to some of you guys. That's just my opinion. But that's also what I figured out. Well, my opinions before I ever touched a substance. So that was kind of tough. And 38, 37. I only have like 2 minutes left, right? So that's what was tough in rehabs, guys. I was telling these stories, and people listened to me. They were like, this kid doesn't belong here. I can't blame him for using drugs. And I'm like, it's not easy to deal with when you're a freaking child. But, hey, that's how I see things. And I have other theories and I have other belief systems, but I stick with the ones. Sun. That's how. Sorry. Africa. A lot of the ancient African tribes, the sun is God. Simple as that. They're right. It did die for us before. Does that sound familiar? Died for us. You getting it? Sacrifice for human. I'm not going to go into that. I only have like 1 minute left, less than a minute. So, anyway, guys, I just wanted you to know that my belief system on my spirituality is extensive. There are multiple angles of it, but I do have my main dominant theories that I stick with that keep me going every day. So, Don't get lost in the sauce, but don't make everything so complicated. Don't take life too seriously either, because if you do, you'll be in the rut that you're in right now, and the obsessive negativity. And negativity, as we just spoke about, is not good. So, hope you understand, guys. Love you guys. Good night.